Good morning, good morning. Welcome to the Keto Mom page. My name is Stephanie. I got caught up in reading, so it's a little bit later this morning, but I am feeling good today. How are you feeling? How are you doing? We are continuing to go through this book, and I have another thought for you from the notes that I took this weekend during an event that I was attending. And so, where are you tuning in from? How is your morning? What are you thankful for? I'd love to know. I'd love for you to share. All right. Couple things. We're going through this book. If you're brand new, the morning lives are meant for mindset, to help you have a heart of thankfulness or a heart of gratitude, or maybe to shift something to help you go, oh, I can do this, to help you have faith in yourself, to help you see the good in others, to help you have a higher level of EQ and AQ, adaptability and control of your emotions, to learn how to respond versus react. The mornings are here for you to help you just understand that your mindset is important. Now, if you want anything else with the keto diet or a low-carb lifestyle, just tune into the page. There's recipes and tips and tricks and all of those things scattered throughout the Keto Mom page. I have been on this page since 2015. So there's no shortage of recipes and keto tips and old lives and how to do this lifestyle. I have all of that. And you can always message me with your questions. Always, always, always. So we're going through this book. I'm also going to talk to you a little bit about the number one rule, and it's talking about looking. The number one rule in getting something that you want. I guess it's probably not the number one rule, but in our virtual event, he was like, listen, he's like, I believe this is one of the number one rules, if there's multiple number ones, in getting what you want. I'm going to talk about that in a second, but I just want to go over something in this book. So I kind of lost my page because I kept reading. Basically, we're still reading through chapter, where are we at? I think we're somewhere on chapter 88, but I actually highlighted one thing. Here's what I want you to know about this book. It's incredible, right? If you don't have the book, I would highly recommend getting it and going through it. He is very much a storyteller. And so with that, you are going to get a lot of stories from the Bible. Why can't I find what I highlighted for you? A lot of stories from the Bible, a lot of things that are, it's all faith-based, the whole book. Goodness. Maybe I didn't highlight it for you. So it's all faith-based, right? So some of you might be going, what does this have to do with your keto journey? Well, a lot of it does. A lot of it has to do with faith in yourself. Faith that, are you believing that you can do this, right? I don't even know where I'm at. I had one thing underlined that I really wanted to share with you. Anyways, if you're reading the book, awesome. Continue to read on. If you're not reading the book and you're just tuning in, I don't know. Anyways, he talked about the point of faith. And you may be like, oh my goodness. I had something that I seriously was like, I know I highlighted it, but there's no way I was that far in it. Okay, I'll come back to this because that's kind of frustrating me. Anyways, he talks about faith. He tells a lot of stories. He tells a lot of stories from the Bible. He tells a lot of stories about going through life and not doing it by yourself, right? Having faith. There's like first dimensional faith, looking at a situation, being uncomfortable with it, and then knowing you can do it. And there's second dimensional faith where you're like, there's no way that's impossible, but impossible things happen, right? So that's the basics of this chapter that we're going through. I'm so perturbed that I must have like skipped a ridiculous amount of pages and went on. So we're just going to know this. We're almost to chapter 4. Finished chapter 3. It's all story-based. Clearly, I am off my game and not sure what I was reading, but I do have something to share with you. So, finish chapter 3. It talks about faith, and faith is super important because without faith, he says, faith is the substance of things hoped for, right? It is going after things that you haven't seen yet but in your mind, you maybe can see it, but physically you can't see it, right? Here's what I wanted to say. So I wanted to correlate the book. I must have I don't even know where I was reading. Clearly I was not sure. But when I was reading, whatever I decided to find that I highlighted, it talked about faith and the power of faith, but also being certain of what you hope for. And then I was realizing this weekend, he said, the number one rule in getting something that you hope for or that you have faith in is you have to have definite of purpose. You have to know what you want. And my question to you this morning is, if you are just living life, which is great, but if you don't have a specific definite of purpose, or your goals are kind of just scattered, they're just kind of like thoughts, but they're not written down, they're not defined, you kind of let life take you out, or let life or the world control you. Like, if you don't have definite of purpose, if you don't really truly know what you want, how in the world are you going to get it? And how are you even going to have enough faith to go after what you want? So what I mean by that is this. I want to lose weight. Is that definite of purpose? Well, how much weight do you want to lose? By when? What are you going to do it? Faith isn't hope. Faith isn't a wish. Maybe I should say that. Let me take that back. You can hope for things, but you need to have faith, right? You need to have definite purpose. You need to take action. You can't wish your fat loss upon you. You cannot wish that you would look like somebody else or feel a certain way. You can work at it. You can have faith and you're going to go after it. You need definite of purpose. So when we were listening to this weekend, he said the number one rule is you need to look. What do you want? And you need to have definite of purpose. And he goes, as soon as we talked about this yesterday in the afternoon live. He says, as soon as the monster, the bad habit, the negative thought, as soon as the negativity comes up saying, I can't do that, there's no way that'll be me, or a bad habit, like you naturally go and grab something to eat that you're like, I didn't want to do that. Like if a bad habit comes up, he's like, you need to kill the monster right away before it takes control of your entire day. Remember, I've said this before, one wrong choice, and a wrong choice would be it just doesn't line up with your goals. One wrong choice in the day doesn't wreck your entire day. It doesn't mean that you just give up and do whatever you want for the rest of the day. One wrong thought, one negative thought does not determine the rest of your day. What he means by that is you take captive the negative thought or the action that day and you kill that monster right away. You have faith that you can do it, but you've got to know what you're going after. He told an incredible story. He said, when you're driving, actually this happened to me last night. Oh my goodness. Okay. So first of all, Joseph McClendon told a story about driving. And he said, oftentimes when you see those skid marks that rear off the road and it looks like they go into a field or whatever, sometimes they go into a pole. So when somebody's going out of control, he says what happens is they get so focused on where they're going. You'll hear people that work for the ambulance, my dad does, EMTs, first responders, and people will go, I don't know what happened. Why did you lose control of your car? I don't know. But the last thing that I remember seeing was the pole. And he jokes about it. And he's like, because when they're swerving out of control, they're so focused on not hitting the pole, but they hit the pole because that's what they're looking at. And so he told a story of his mom had lost control of the car and he was in the passenger seat. And she was screaming and they were heading towards the pole because that's what she was looking at. And he said in an instant, he's like, I've never done this before, but I had to punch my mom's arm and grab the wheel because he goes, how in the world can somebody miss the 20 feet of open space but hit the 3-foot pole? Like, how can they do this? Because they're so focused on it when they're, swerving out of control. Do you know what I'm talking about? Does this make sense? He said, because you're so focused, the ones that have hit the pole, which many people have, is because when they swerve out of control, they don't see the gap of the 20 feet they can go right into and not get hit anything, but they see the pole. And so he just says, like, what are you focused on? Good or bad, right or wrong, positive, negative, because that's where you're going. That's where you're going. So last night we were driving home. It was late and we live out a mile out of town. And so it is pitch black. and I was laughing because this happened to me last night. I didn't hit the pole, but I always have to look for there's no lights anywhere. I'm constantly like, I hope there's no deer, so I'm driving slower. And for some reason, I always look for the little green street sign that reflects so that I can see the road that I have to turn on to get to our house on the dirt road. Whatever reason, I was fixated on the green sign that was like the next street in front of me. And I was talking, the girls were talking, and I was kind of like focused on making sure there was no deer. And for whatever reason, my eyes were fixated on the next green sign. And I was just heading that way. And my daughter was like, wait, aren't you going to turn that way? And I was like, yeah, I've never missed our street. She's like, why did you do that? And in a second, I was like, oh, because I was focused on the next green sign. That's where I was going. That was my definite purpose. I didn't realize that I had missed the first sign. I don't know if this makes sense, but I want you to know something. I would encourage you today to make sure that if you have nothing you're going after, figure out what you want to go after. What are your goals? What are you hoping for? He talks about a percentage of what you are. Let me make sure I get the right percentages. He says, okay, so when you're going after something, a goal, a dream, a vision, when you have like a vision board, right? He says, how will you do something or not do something? How will these percentages play a huge factor in whether you'll go after it or you'll just not? Whether you will hit that weight loss goal or you won't. He says 60% of it is psychology. 20% of it is your energy or your electricity, what you're putting out into it, your action, right? 20% is your magnetism, like your it factor, your desire. Do you really want it? So I would encourage you today to evaluate something, just your life. What do you want? And do you have a defined purpose, not fat loss? Like, I want to lose this amount of weight in this time frame, and I'm willing to do this and give up this. That's definite a purpose. You know where you're going. You need to have that pole to focus on, because everything else will come in, and it'll be easier to, if you don't have that definite purpose, you're going to let other people sway you, other people's circumstances come in, life, the world will come in and take control of your life. And you're going to sit back and you're going to go, oh, how did I get here? I didn't really have a goal. I didn't have faith that I could do it. So if 60% of you going after your goals and achieving them have to do with psychology, then it's your mindset, right? Do you believe that you can do it? Do you have definite purpose? And part of reading books and learning from others is building yourself up, right? Oh yeah, I need to be thankful this morning. Oh yeah, I really should be reading a book to get my mindset right. Don't be one of those people that turn on, I shouldn't say reality TV, because I'm not saying that reality TV is bad. How often do we do things out of habit? Turn on the news in the morning, turn on a TV show. Like, we don't even sit for 2 seconds and go, I'm thankful for today. What am I going after today? Where is my focus? What are some of my goals this morning? We just naturally let the television, if you've never heard that word, hello, the television is telling you your vision. Television. Like, it is not there to help you. It is there to distract you, and it is not going to give you your definitive purpose. It is probably going to cause more comparison, laziness, bad habits. And so I'm not saying the television is bad. I'm just saying maybe you should reevaluate what you do in the mornings and focus on your mindset. If 60% is psychology of whether you will or will not go after your goals. That's it. Okay. I feel like I was on a little rant, and I'm really frustrated that I don't have that one thing I wanted to share with you that was highlighted, but it's okay. Continue to go finish chapter 3, and we'll start on chapter 4. And it's really talking about faith. Are you going to go after the things that you want? Whether it is biblical based or the notes that weren't biblical based, they all line up. They're very similar. You can say, somebody that didn't want to have a biblical viewpoint would say, well, I just get lucky, or or I'm going to work really hard. Like, it all is the same. Science. No, okay, let me back up for a second. If you want to look at it from a faith point of view, you've got to have faith that you can do it. If you don't want to look at it that way, science would say, if you're a science person, that you still have to take action, that you still have to have definite purpose, that you still have to know where you're going. So I prefer faith. All right, but it all requires action. So however you want to look at it, I'm here to help. I will make sure that I have my highlights way better, and I'm going to have to go look through my book to figure out what happened. So I hope you guys have an incredible day. Always here to help. Totally random live, but 100% my encouragement to you would be this. What do you want? Write it down. Get specific. Share it with somebody. You can share it with me. You can share below. I'd love to know what it is. And don't let other people's opinions, viewpoints, the television, other things be a distraction for you to go after those goals. So have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.